guys, what's going on? I got my 2012 Ford Expedition over here in Steve's shop, and getting ready to do the front struts on it. We'll show you what's involved in taking them out.
So we're going to change the front strut on Tony's truck, and we've got a cotter pin in here. We're going to bend back and take off. We did tie rods on this not too long ago, so these are going to come out. And we've got a 22 millimeter here on the gun. We're going to pop the tie rod off. We're trying to hit right here so we don't damage anything. Okay, get that off. Now the wheel is free spinning for us. And yesterday we had taken off the front, we took off the stabilizer link. So we have that off, and we took that off. We think when you're replacing the struts, you know, you should be replacing your links at the same time. And it's by having the stabilizer link taken off, the bar is so thick on this thing that, you know, it's going to give you a hard time trying to pry down the lower control arm after we take the mount off here. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to strip our bolt out of here, take this one off, and then we'll disconnect the front link here and drop the thing down. And if you have the stabilizer link on, the arm's not going to want to come down, and you're going to really need a big bar to really force this thing down to pop this bottom out of the control arm. So we took the link off first. It's just going to make things easier for us. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to disconnect our nut right here. We have a 30 millimeter on one side for the back side, and we have an 1 16th we're going to use on the front. Okay, the struts are loose. I've had these bolts seized in there, and they are a monster to try and get out if the bottom of the strut collar is frozen on here. This is just another reason why we use never seize to load this all back up. So in the future, if you ever have to take it down again, a lot of people keeping their vehicles a lot more than 100,000 miles. And it's possible you could go in there and change struts out twice in your lifetime. So you lube this all up, you won't have an issue with it coming apart.
So with that said, my truck has 200 grand on it, if you can believe that. So at 200 grand, this is the repair that we're doing today.
So we're going to pry down on the upper control arm to put pressure on the spindle here so that it's not going to slip. Now you can put a wrench on here. It looks like a 10 millimeter, and then this is a 21. We're going to just pry down on it and zip it off with the impact gun with a flex socket. And Tony's going to have to help me pry down on this with the big bar. Once you get going with this, don't stop. Get it all off. All right, you can take the bar out now. And we've got the strut down somewhat now. So we're going to put the nut on just real loose. And I'm going to smack this with the hammer, and this should split. I don't really want to use the fork. Okay. And I'm going to pry down on this again. Okay. Pop it out. Okay, now we had already disconnected our lines over here, and there was a reason, you know, that we did that so that we don't have an issue with this. This ABS line isn't pulling that tight, which I'm okay with. I still got slack and everything here. You don't want anything to pull tight. That's why we took it off of the arm yesterday. We unbolted the 10 millimeter and the 5/16. So, you know, we give it a little more slack. So now, at this point, we need to pull the control arm down a little bit to pop this thing out, okay? So we got a couple of options. We can go underneath like this. You gotta watch this. Now this is starting to get tight, okay? So, all right, that's okay. And we got the strut out. Now these are 15 millimeters up here. We actually cracked them loose with a 1/2 inch drive ratchet last night, and some of these we're gonna just take out, and the ones that are in the back that are kind of difficult. And you have a hard time getting the air ratchet in there, so we sprayed them a few times. We're gonna back these all off. The one that's in the back, I can actually get the air ratchet into it. So I'm gonna do that for one of them. If I had a semi-deep 15, I'd probably be okay. You can't really get a shallow one in there until you get the nuts up, kind of like the way they are right now. So we're gonna just finish taking this off. I'm gonna hit the one in the back with the air ratchet. Okay, let's take that last one off with the gear wrench. Okay, now we're gonna get some brake this in. Okay. Okay, so the stud comes through. The holes are actually a little elongated. You can't really see them that well right now, but when we pull them out, you'll see them. And what we're trying to do is we just want to put the strut back in the same spot, you know, just to try to keep everything exactly the same. So we got these all out right now. We're going to pull the strut down and out. Okay, and you can see that the holes are more elongated now when you look up there. So if you notice, looking at the top of the strut, these two bolts are closer than these. So this is the way it's gonna go up in place. All right, I'm gonna feed this thing up in there. Okay, these are 15s as well. And we'll get these all snug down. And we'll drop the strut back into the pocket over here. We'll tighten them down as far as we can with the air ratchet. And then we'll hand tighten them. Make sure they're good and tight. So we can push the strut down. Sometimes you just gotta tap this down with a hammer a little bit. Okay. Okay, we gotta load our bolt up with nemesis. Okay, we're going to lift up on the arm a little bit here. There it goes. All right, I'm going to tap it in now. I'm not tightening anything yet. We want to get these tightened down and then see how close we are to our original mounts, because we can pry this around a little bit to get it lined up perfect. All right, so we're gonna start snugging these down. Okay, so before we put our bottom in, we just lining up our bolts up here, and you can see we're right back to where we were with the original marks. And now we're gonna snug this up, and then we'll catch the bottom in. It's moving. All right, let's try and check that again. There, all right there. Okay, that's good. Right there. That looks pretty good there. Let's put the light up there?
Yep.
Yeah. Gonna hold this, tighten it. It's dancing. Let's get a little snugger. That one looks good. Okay, right there. Looks good. And that one looks good. All right, I'm gonna snug it up. All right, we get these two snug. I'm gonna double check it one more time. We just want them back where the original marks were, you know? That's what our goal is. Back one looks good too. Okay, we can run these down tight. We're gonna tighten them with the breaker bar or the 1/2-inch ratchet at the end. And, all right, so we got the long 1/2-inch drive ratchet. Making sure these are all tight. Okay, and now we'll line up the bottom. I'll pop this in play. Sometimes you got to get the breaker bar in here, and sometimes you got to just twist this just a whisker. And it looks like we're going to twist this with the bar just a little bit so it'll fall in the pocket. Okay, let's get our bolt in there. Get the bolt all never seized. It comes in from the front. Gonna have to push in a little bit. Let's see if we can get the bar in there to line it up for us. Tap this bolt down. There she goes. Okay, we got a nut. Put a nut on the back side. I'm gonna run this down tight. Okay, that's tight. Now, we've got to get our front lined up here with the tie rod in here. Okay, we're going to catch our 21mm nut. Trying not to pry on the strut. I'm on the side of it. Tony's holding the bar, and I'm going to zip this thing up with the gun right now. Don't spin. All right, so we've got the bolt tight on the bottom, the top's all tight, the bolts are centered, and we got our tie rod disconnected. So now we have our stabilizer link over here that we're gonna put in. We'll never seize that up. Okay, we got our links all lubed up. We're gonna stick them, the bottom one down in place. And they're 15mm And on the bottom of the stud, we're gonna try and zip these up with the gun and see if they go. If they spin, we're gonna have to put a 8mm on the top of this, which is gonna be kind of a pain in the ass because you really can't get into this pocket. Of course it ain't tightening down. Son of a bitch. All right, we just pried down on it to get the nut started on these things. And of course the other one's breaking their ass. It won't tighten up on the bottom here, so we'll figure that out. We're gonna get the nut started on this one over here. And we'll try and tighten. Man, you'd think they'd want to tighten right up easy, but... So we have to put some vice grips on it, and we got a 5/16 on there, tightening down the nut. It's kind of... It's going smooth though, so...
Yeah, we ain't there yet.
Oh, we're getting there. All right, it's tightening up.
All right.
All right, we're gonna go get the other bottom one done, and then we're gonna get the top ones, and we can put a 18mm wrench on the top one and then use the socket. And what's happening is it's spinning inside the ball socket, just like a tie rod. So as you're trying to tighten this nut down, this stud is turning, and you can't just hold this. This is doing nothing for us right now. So we got the bottom one tight.
So this is how, let's see if I can get a...
Yeah, this is how we held it.
We hold the nut, and then we were spinning the end of it.
And it'll bottom out. And I'm going to do the same over here. All right, I'm tightening down the top one now. These things are going too tight all the way. You know, he got the Delphi ones. I put some moves on mine. The moves tighten right up. I don't know, but you know, you can do it this way. We also never seized this to make sure it would go down easy, but it's not. But it's going down. Good luck to the next guy trying to take him out, even though we never seized him. Going slow, but it's funny. It gets to a certain point and it seems like it eases up a little. It's not as hard. We know we started them correct. And now we're just about there. All right, and that's it. It's going to be the same procedure on the other side.
So the other side's done the exact same way, and that should wrap it up.